Check. 1, 2, 3.
The D. Brief. This is the D Brief.
Go. Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's arts
and entertainment scene.
This is the D
Brief.
Hello and welcome for the
Here we go. See, now we're jinxed.
Hello and welcome to the podcast for and about Detroit artists and entertainers.
And who are you?
Oh, God, I knew you were going to ask me that question. I'm Seth Ressler.
I'm Becky Scarcello.
And it's Friday. We have joining us again today. She's been with us all week. Nya Marshall. She's the owner of Ivy Kitchen and Cocktails over there on Jefferson Avenue. It's good to see you again.
Yes.
Likewise. Thanks for having me all week. I appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you being here. It's been fun.
So it's your last day with us. I want to drill down a little bit today into your career because it's been very interesting. You did not set out to open a restaurant. That wasn't sort of your childhood dream. That's something that came up along the way. I want to find out a little bit more about switching careers. We'll get into that in a few moments.
Yes.
But let's actually,
I have something important to ask first. So we talked about your favorite dishes and that great cocktail that you talked about with the blueberries. What about dessert? We didn't get that far.
We didn't. My favorite. That's easy for me. My favorite dessert is this chocolate raspberry mousse cheesecake that we have.
Oh.
It's fantastic. It's just very decadent. It's not too heavy. It's light, but it's still very flavorful. It's delicious when you get a chance. Come in and try it.
All right, Becky, last day of trivia. What do you got?
Yeah, so it's my last day talking about the Detroit Institute of Arts, who is seeking the millage renewal. And the DIA has over 65,000 pieces of art in their permanent collection, plus, all the stuff they borrow and traveling exhibits and stuff like that. So a lot goes through there. But no question, one of the most well-known and recognizable is the Diego Rivera industry murals there. They depict he depicted workers at the Ford Motor Company River Rouge plant. There's stuff about scientific advancements. There's 27 different little paintings there, making up this huge room, Rivera Court. So he was a controversial choice, right? So Diego's from Mexico, was a known Marxist politically view-wise. So his murals were called blasphemous by local clergy, and the Detroit News called them vulgar and un-American. And what happened, do you think, as a result of this controversy? Did people boycott the museum? Did Detroiters send hate mail to Diego Rivera? Did 10,000 people visit the museum in one day? Or did a wedding happen there to christen Rivera Court?
Yeah, I'm thinking on this one. I'm familiar with the exhibit.
Yeah, I've been there. It's gorgeous.
It is. I've seen it a couple of times, actually, but I didn't know about his political affiliations.
Yes.
So that's very new information for me. So can I hear them one more time?
Mm-hmm. So the point is the Detroit News called them vulgar and un-American when these industry murals were complete.
Don't they call a lot of people that?
Not
over
today.
At the Detroit News. I think they do today.
Yeah, I think it's still going on.
Yes.
So I guess the main question is, did they react positively or negatively to that? Yeah. Did they boycott the museum? Did they send hate mail? Did 10,000 people visit the museum in one day? Or was a wedding held to christen the space?
I think, and I'll tell you why. I think 10,000 people showed up in one day. Because if Nolan Finley says a piece of art is terrible, I'm going to go see it. So that's what I think it is.
Nothing like controversy to get people out.
Nothing like controversy. 10,000 people out in one day for a Diego Rivera event. I don't know. I'm going to go with a wedding.
Okay. Well, you're both on the right side of things, and it was the 10,000 people.
Okay.
After the Detroit News published that, the following Sunday, 10,000 people showed up to see.
Now, if it were marriage day or whatever it is, then maybe 10,000 people could have showed up for the wedding.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Interesting.
I know. So Nya, you've made a really huge transition the last few years from, you were gone from Detroit for a while, you moved back and you made the decision, I want to invest in my old neighborhood. and you had raised your son in the suburbs and moved back to the east side. You went from automotive engineering, project manager type stuff to owning a restaurant. Okay. So how does that happen? How did you prepare for that, have the courage for that, and, just make that kind of jump?
Well, it wasn't exactly planned. Exactly. What happened was, obviously, I never had any bouts of unemployment. Thank God for that. But many people in my family did. So we all ended up living in the same household again.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So you had, your 4-bedroom home, which occupied 2 people, now occupies, 10 people or more. And each family has a room, basically. And so, because many of my siblings did have bouts of unemployment during the struggle,
And were they in automotive as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And so to make ends meet, we made it work. Oddly enough, it was a fantastic time. You don't often get a chance to reconnect with your siblings. You talk to them and all that kind of stuff, but living under one roof and eating together and all that kind of stuff, it was a great experience. But what made me worry is the fact that I had no control over my life. Zero control over my life. And during that time, I just started thinking about regaining control. My son was approaching high school, and I'm thinking about, I've always had a career by chance, not by choice.
I see. Yes.
So I started thinking about all these things and the next phase of my life on, what am I going to do with the life that I want to build for myself, not the life that I'm being pushed to build to support my family, basically. And, those kind of uncertainties, not having in control and actually realizing it, because obviously you're from Detroit and you're in the automotive industry, it's kind of a guaranteed thing. You're okay. You do the right thing. You go to school, you get your degrees, you get employed, gainfully employed, and you get up and go to work and do the best you can every single day. And you're expected to, that's your safety net. When the rug is taken from underneath you within that, it brings a lot of doubt and uncertainty. And so I just started thinking about what can I do and what do I want to do with the next phase of my life that's community-based and something that I enjoy, that I want to do, and have more control of not just my time, but my life overall.
So, and we talked about this a little earlier in the week, that you didn't even think of it as, I'm going to go do a restaurant.
No.
You thought of it as, I'm going to go back to where I grew up and contribute to the community in a meaningful way. And that meant asking people what they were missing.
Absolutely. So that was the good part. And I met a lot of great, fantastic people, because it's hard. It's not easy being a lifelong Detroiter. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not to mention the stigma that you get from just being in Detroit or living in Detroit, but the added cost of being there. And it's not an easy journey. And I applaud everyone that does it every single day, because, like I said, this resurrection, if you will, I want to make sure that the Detroiters who've been there and been through the struggle are a part of it, because they deserve it the most.
Exactly.
They're the ones that had people steal their cars, their tires, take siding off of their homes, and all these things that you forget that happen that you absorb the cost for. It's all these things. And
Sky-high auto insurance and all that.
Absolutely. Failed schools where you're lying about living one place to send your kids to better schools. All these things that people don't think about, that Detroiters go through on a daily basis, that this resurrection is really for you. You know what I mean? And everyone, whether they are acknowledging it or not, but everyone that's in this community that's making this resurgence happen, it's a fantastic thing, but it's really for the people that have been through the struggle of the city of Detroit. So
talk to somebody who wants to be part of that resurgence or contribute to that. What advice would you give them? Where should they start?
Yeah, so especially in a neighborhood.
Yeah. So if it's community based, obviously you start in your community, and that's where I began. You began on a lower level, because the truth of the matter is, if you reach out to your council person in Detroit and say, I'm trying to do this, I want to do this, they will help guide you. They will give you resources. City of Detroit has improved drastically. Even from me beginning my journey, I've always owned real estate in the city of Detroit. I've just gotten into commercial more recently. But even just going through that journey of development and owning a business in the city of Detroit, that process, they've made strides to make that better. improve the process, to improve all of these things. And I would recommend that they reach out first locally in that specific district that they're from or they want to have their business in, because there are so many resources for entrepreneurs. It's crazy. They have a lot of resources out there.
You strike me as somebody compared to a lot of, we have a lot of artists and entertainers and creative types who come through and are on the podcast. You strike me as a very business-minded person.
Yeah, I have an MBA, so
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you're opening up a restaurant, do you find yourself surrounding yourself with people who are, artistically inclined or a little bit more creative, or do they tend to be more business-minded like yourself?
Well, I think you need a balance of both, to be honest. You need the left and the right brain people for success, because, there's art and there's culture in absolutely everything you do, and to bring that in, obviously, in whatever it is that you're doing is always a fantastic thing, especially in the neighborhood.
So how do you, for example, go find a chef?
Well, that's the tough part in this climate. I won't lie to you. Luckily, I was very fortunate enough to find people that believed not just in me, but believed in the mission and that I was in my goals that I'm trying to set forth. So just to find a good chef, because I know some restaurateurs, they've brought chefs from other locations, out of state. All the things. I firmly believe in local based talent, and that's just because I believe everybody deserves a shot. And so whether my talent comes from, if they're ex-cons, if they are being rehabilitated into returning into society, things of that nature, I'm fine with all of that. I believe everybody deserves a second chance. But most of my staff, including my chef, they're all locally from the city of Detroit.
Wow.
And some of your staff can literally walk to work.
Oh, many can.
Right?
Actually, over half can. They live within a half-mile radius of the restaurant.
That's
and that was by design, though, because I, too, had jobs locally when I was growing up in the city of Detroit that I walked to. And so that's very important, because you don't understand what's going on in the neighborhoods, in the communities, in these households. Poverty is still an issue in the city of Detroit. Just know that at Ivy, we do pay more than a livable wage. No one makes minimum wage at Ivy. The workforce development and economics of that is very, very, very important to me. And it's essential to show people that I had a lady that came in and she said, well, a side of eggs costs $6 here. And I had to explain to her why a side of eggs costs $6. One, they are farm-raised organic eggs. Let's just start there. Secondarily, everyone in this restaurant, they make above minimum wage. So not only are you supporting, eating a healthier option, which is good for you, a good return for yourself, but you're also making sure that the people that work at Ivy can afford to pay their bills and afford rent and the basic necessities of life.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certain places, maybe downtown.
This isn't Coney Island. That's all I say. It's not the Coney.
Exactly.
Do you get pushback from customers on that?
A little bit, absolutely. And I try my explanation. Most understand the economics once I explain to them that we are a farm to table fresh restaurant. All of our beef is grass fed. It's prime. It's not choice. All of our seafood is fresh. It's flown in every day or two. All of our produce, everything here is as organic as we can get it and as fresh as possible. And that is literally because we are also advocates of just eating healthier in the city of Detroit, right?
Is there an element of educating your consumer base?
Oh, it is. It is, because I
so.
respond to every single review that I get. So if you ever want to reach out to me or understand any of the economics or anything like that, I do respond to all of my social media personally. So when you reach out on social media, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, you are talking to Nya Marshall. So just know that. And so if there's ever any questions, any bad experience or anything, please reach out to me, because our job is to do not only business well, but to do Black business well.
All right. Well, we've definitely got questions. All right, here's how this works. We're going to play a little game. We're going to ask you for a series of rapid-fire recommendations, and then all you have to do is tell us the first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Starting with this. You're from Detroit, even though you left for a while. Did you have a favorite spot in the city as a kid?
I did. I did. It was called Alabama style chicken.
Okay. Right to the food.
Oh my God.
Love
Yeah,
it.
right to the food. And they had, the reason it was so great, and this is back in the day, of course, and it cost like $1.19. They had this fish sandwich and it was so great. And I would just smother it with all this hot sauce and tartar sauce or whatever it was. You know, it wasn't the healthiest thing to eat, but it would definitely be something I would eat going home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, so you've got some nice cocktails there at your restaurant. Let's say you were going to create one and name it after a famous Detroiter.
Obviously, my name, the person that would come to my mind would be Aretha Franklin. I'm a huge admirer of hers. In terms of what the name would be for the cocktail,
Or what would be in it or anything.
I think something spicy, like a spicy tequila, a mezcal tequila, something like that. That's indicative of who she was. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Like, she was a lot of things, but she was always spicy and rapid fire, and that might be the name, rapid fire.
Oh, I like
you know.
that.
So yeah.
Nice. Where is your favorite place to go in the city for a romantic date?
A romantic date. God, I don't have time for dates, but if I were to go on a date, for dinner or for cocktails?
For whatever you want.
Okay.
It can be a
You can
day.
pick.
It can be
so if it's cocktails, my favorite place right now is Evening Bar in the Shinola Hotel. That place just has a vibe, an energy that I just love. You know, it's not many places where you can hear like hip hop and all kinds of genres of music in an elevated environment.
I
you
like
know?
that too.
I love the Evening Bar. It's fantastic. The sad part is you don't get in all the time.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's good
small.
because it's small. So if you know somebody, you can get in there. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're all trying to think spring. What's your favorite thing about Detroit in the springtime?
Oh, obviously the trees. The trees are fantastic. The spring and the fall, I literally drive around the city. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what I'm about to say is probably a little bit crass, but I've seen a lot of vacant homes, and then I'll ride around these vacant homes, and they have the best freaking dirt, and they grow. I'll be like, I just want to pull these trees up. Like, they should literally let us
Yes.
pull them up because they have the shrubs, the boxwoods, you know what I mean? The cherry trees.
All the
so
flowering.
many have great trees and great shrubbery around them that I'll just be like, why is it here? I need it at my house. You know what I mean? Something like that. But yes, obviously the trees.
I think you think about dirt more than almost any guest we've ever had on this podcast.
All about the dirt.
Do you have a favorite specialty food shop?
Yeah, I do. I got a couple actually. So obviously I'm an Eastern Market. I'm from the East Side, and Eastern Market is obviously my favorite. One of my favorite cheese shops is DeVries, though. Many don't know about it. Or Cost Plus Wine. They're fantastic, and they've been there for a long time. Yeah.
How about a favorite Motown song?
Favorite Motown song. I have a lot of favorite Motown songs. Let me think. Which one do I want to give the biggest shout
Or
out
could do
to?
a little mini playlist if you'd
Yeah.
like.
So obviously we talked about Aretha Franklin previously. We talked about Michael Jackson. So all of these Motown greats are fantastic. Probably Aretha Franklin's her Respect song. You know, I'm just, I'm born and raised on that kind of music. It was permeating in my ears before I was even born. So I'm partial to that. Yeah.
All right. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nya Marshall, it's been great to have you here all week.
It's been fantastic.
Oh my gosh, dishing all the
Yeah,
dirt.
thank you for hanging out. Literally,
Yeah.
It's a good concept now.
you're the owner of Ivy Kitchen and Cocktails. It's over there at 9215 Jefferson Avenue. Go check it out if you haven't been. It's an absolutely fantastic way to not only go have a great meal, but support local businesses.
Exactly.
And,
Absolutely.
And employees that are treated well.
keep money in the
and-
community, all
yes.
that.
Absolutely. The goal is to turn the money over and build generational wealth. Come see us, Ivy Kitchen and Cocktails, 9215 East Jefferson Avenue. You can find us on Facebook, Ivy Kitchen and Cocktails, and Instagram, Ivy_Detroit.
Cool. You can find us at thedebriefdetroit.com. We include links to all the things that we talk about in these shows and, of course, all the different ways that you can connect with us on social media. Let's close out the week, Becky, with another song. What have you got for us?
Sure. So I thought we would close out this week with some hip hop. So I have Lust or Love by Tony Millions. And he's got inspirations from Snoop Dogg to Wiz Khalifa. This guy writes and produces his own music. He officially launched his music career when he was still a student at Royal Oak High School. So here's Lust or Love. He just released this in January.
Cool. We'll talk to you next week. Until then, Detroit's moving.
Keep up.
No cap, texting all day, I was thinking you should pull up. I've been at the crib by my lonely doing push-ups. All I see is you every time that I look up. I ain't hit it yet, but I know you got that good stuff. Shorty wanna smoke when I pull up, I let her roll up. Baby loud in public, I love it, I be like, so what? She don't wanna leave me, she love it, I be like, Shona. I ain't hit it yet, but I know you got that good stuff. From a long line of players, but I promise I won't play you while you f***ing with them. Girl, you know that they can't save you. Let you do your own thing, never let nobody change you. All we got is us, so the models what they do. Never been this open, she open because I listen. I've been on a mission to get you to change positions. She was rocking with me way before we started winning. Keep it 100 with me, might lick it before I stick it. Don't even tell your friends, cause that ain't nobody business. And I can't have you in competition with other women. Ain't gotta push my buttons just to push me to the limit. If you ain't got no drive, she ain't riding for no limit. I want it as bad as you want it. So when you tell me you ready, I bet I'm already on it. I want it as bad as you want it. Whether it's lust or love, and get it however you want it. All day, I was thinking you should pull up. I've been rolling up all day waiting on you, baby. All I see is you every time that I look up. Got me smiling every time I look at my phones. Shorty wanna smoke when I pull up, I let her roll up. What, you like palm trees? Let me guess, long walks on the beach? She don't wanna leave me, she love it, I be like, Shona. I really feel like you for me, but it's one thing I need to know. We been texting all day, I was thinking you should pull up. I've been at the crib by my lonely doing push-ups. All I see is you every time that I look up. I ain't hit it yet, but I know you got that good stuff. Shorty wanna smoke when I pull up, I let her roll up. Baby loud in public, I love it, I be like, so what? She don't wanna leave me, she love it, I be like, Shona. I ain't hit it yet, but I know you got that good stuff. She think I'm too sweet, cause it's been like 2 weeks. And we been on 3 dates, still ain't blessed these new sheets. This ain't that type of party, I ain't about to let you starve me. White wine and calamari, now my vision kinda starry. I know you being hopeful, probably want me to post you, but I don't like to talk about it, I'd rather show you. Ain't tripping on your little beef, cause it's really tofu. I'm focused on making music the both of us can smoke to. No cap, you can cut your little whack, you ain't really that mad. In the bonnet you bad, if I'm gonna open your doors, be the best that I've had, be the least of my worries, and stay down when I'm bad. I want it as bad as you want it. So when you tell me you ready, I bet I'm already on it. I want it as bad as you want it. Whether it's lust or love, and get it however you want it. Texting all day, I was thinking you should pull up. I've been at the crib by my lonely doing push-ups. All I see is you every time that I look up. I ain't hit it yet, but I know you got that good stuff. Shorty wanna smoke when I pull up, I let her roll up. Baby loud in public, I love it, I be like, so what? She don't wanna leave me, she love it, I be like, Shona. I ain't hit it yet, but I know you got that good stuff. We been texting all day, I was thinking you should pull up. I really feel like you that one, don't prove me wrong. All I see is you every time that I look up. Got me bragging about you, falling asleep on the phone. Shorty wanna smoke when I pull up, I let her roll up. Let's go on a road trip far, far away. She don't wanna leave me, she love it, I be like, Shona. If I could be with you all day, I would, but it's money to make. No cap.
The D Brief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.